So that's it. Some other instructions. In case it's time for you to speak, make sure you unmute so that you can speak. And also, if you're going to speak, if I've asked a question and then you have the answer, make sure you raise up your hand so that I can easily see you, and then we move on to the next step. So first, so allow me share my screen so that we can start up this immediately. The other thing is at least have a book where you can note down something. Even though we leave you behind, make sure later we shall still send you the recording, and then you will be in position to follow through the recording. And also I will send you the PowerPoint slides, and you shall be in position to follow that. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. This is my screen, and this is it. Welcome to our online class. This is particularly for primary 4, and this is Yaka Digital Learning Network. These are free online classes, so feel free to participate. Feel free to participate. I request Valentine, please mute your microphone so that we can move on successfully. Mute your microphone like that. Thank you. So let's move on to this. So I was telling you that these are free online classes, and those are other benefits. We have great teachers and so many other things. I don't need to move to that. So let's move straight to the work. So when you look at primary 4 contains around 12 topics, which a child is supposed to finish, while in primary 4, 12 topics. And each term contains 4 topics. First term contains 4, second term contains 4, and then also third term contains 4. So the first topic in primary 4 is plant life. And it is so interesting that each one of us knows what plants are. Each one of us knows what plants are. So we need to move straight to that. Hope everyone is able to see my screen. So I request Valentine to read for us that heading. Yes, Valentine?
Plant life.
Plant life, good. What are plants? What are plants? All of us know what plants are. What are plants? What are plants? I request you to raise up your hand in case you're going to raise up your hand if you're going to speak, so that I can easily give you opportunity. What are plants? We all know plants. We stay in the environment. What are plants? What are plants? If you have any idea, you may tell us by raising up your hand. Yes, Karsten, is that your name?
Yes.
Yes, Karsten, can you tell us what plants are?
Plants are living things which grow on earth, having a stem, roots, and leaves.
Good. Plants are living things that grow on earth, having stems, leaves, and also roots. As simple as that. And the answer is very correct. So I want someone to read for us what Kirsten has just told us. She has told us that plants are living things that grow. in the earth and have a stem, leaves, and roots. As simple as that. So I'm going to choose someone to read for us this. We have Anna. Anna, can you read for us that definition? Faster. You first unmute, then you speak.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
speak. Yes, we are hearing you.
Hello.
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Hello.
Okay, so let's move to still someone. Nasha, can you read for us that definition?
Plants are living things that grow in the earth and have a stem, leaves, and roots.
Good. Plants are living things that grow in the earth and have a stem, leaves, and roots. As simple as that. So let's take a look at the types of plants. When you look at plants, plants are categorized into two types. They are categorized into two types. Who can tell us these types? Types of plants. Someone to tell us these types of plants by show of hands. Types of plants. Yes, Pascal, you're with us. Feel free to speak. Yes, Sarah, Uganda.
Flowering plants.
Good, we have flowering plants. Another person. Another person, I want these ones who have not spoken. Yes, Stacy. Stacy.
Non-flowering plants.
Good, non-flowering plants, as simple as that. So when you look at the plants, plants are categorized into two types. That is the flowering plants and the non-flowering plants. The flowering plants and the non-flowering plants. So we are going to look at these different types of plants one at a time, one by one. We shall be looking at them one by one. We shall look at the flowering plants and the non-flowering plants. So, but we shall look at them one by one. So today, we are basically going to look at the non-flowering plants. Today, we shall basically look at the non-flowering plants. So what are non-flowering plants? What are non-flowering plants? What are non-flowering plants? We have I need those ones who have not spoken, at least to say something. Yes, Valentine.
Non-flowering plants are plants which do not bear food.
Come again.
These are flowers which do not bear food.
Which do not bear?
Flowers.
Okay, that is Valentine, someone who may be having a different view. Yes, Kirsten.
These are plants which do not bear flowers.
These are plants which do not bear flowers. I see Anna's hand up. What are non-flowering plants?
Non-flowering plants are plants which do not bear flowers.
Good. So thank you very much, Valentine, Kirsten, Anna, and everyone. So that is the right definition of non-flowering plants. These are plants which do not bear flowers. So thank you so much. So this is the right definition. So sometimes you may not, maybe you don't want to use the word bear. You can simply say, do not produce flowers, and we shall mark you correctly. These are plants which do not produce flowers. Produce is the same as bear. So don't fear anything. If they ask you to define that, simply say these are plants which do not produce flowers. If you don't want to use the word produce, simply say flowering plants and non-flowering plants are plants which do not bear flowers. But don't use both. Don't say that flowering plants or non-flowering plants are plants which do not produce or bear flowers. If you give like that, then you've given double. We don't need the repetition. We don't need repetition, as simple as that. So let's take a look at examples of non-flowering plants. Examples of non-flowering plants. These are very many. When you look at the examples of non-flowering plants, they are very many. Because here we have not yet differentiated. Because when you look at non-flowering plants, again, these ones are also categorized into two. In P6, we shall teach you that. But I'm going to give you even here from P4. We shall look at that also from this class, from also P4. So that when you reach there, you know it already. So let's move on. Examples of non-flowering plants. So make sure you just raise up your hand. Valentine?
Bananas.
Not really. Nasha?
Pines.
Pines, correct. Anna? Yes, Anna? You unmute, then you speak.
Mushroom.
Not really. Come again.
Pans.
I can't hear you well.
Moses.
Mushrooms.
Okay, we have Moses. Mushroom is not a plant. Mushroom is not a plant. A mushroom is not a plant, but Moses is correct. Moses is a non-flowering plant. So let's move on. I see Sarah. Can you tell us one?
Moses.
Moses is correct, but someone said it earlier. I don't know if you were the very person. And then we have Stacy. Stacy say something. We also have is
Far.
Excuse me, sir.
is it correct? Please, if you're not speaking, you mute your microphone. Yes.
What about fans?
Come again.
What about fans?
Fans. Fans is correct. Fans. Fans are non-flowering plants. Fans are non-flowering plants. We have still Valentine. You can tell us another.
Pineapple.
Pineapple is not a non-flowering plant. We have Sarah.
Horsewords.
Come again.
Horsewords.
Okay. So these are some of the examples of non-flowering plants that we have already mentioned. We have pines. We also have ferns. We also have Moses. When you're writing the word Moses, make sure you have SS in the middle. Don't write the name of a person. This one is Moses. Moses. Simple as that. Don't write the name of a person. At least have there double S. Without double S, we shall not mark it correctly. You must have their SS. Then we have eucalyptus. Even the eucalyptus, this one is also a non-flowering plant. It is also a non-flowering plant. Then we also have liverworts. It is also a non-flowering plant. And then we have what we call algae. Algae, these ones are also under non-flowering plants. Those days, before people did much of the research, people used to call even mushrooms that they are plants, but we realize that mushrooms are not plants because they do not even make their own food. They do not have chlorophyll. So that's why mushrooms are not regarded as plants. So don't write that answer. If they ask you to mention the non-flowering plants, don't write mushroom because a mushroom is not a plant. It does not make its own food. For plants, plants make their own food. So don't write that one. As simple as that. So these are the examples of the non-flowering plants. As simple as that. So when you look at these non-flowering plants, you get to realize that they are combined, they are joined, because we have two groups of non-flowering plants. We have two groups of non-flowering plants, and this is where I want you to be able to give me those groups of non-flowering plants. Usually, teachers sometimes handle this in primary 6, but you can still handle it in primary 4, and then you still understand it because it is not very difficult. So the other group, the other example of a non-flowering plant is lichen. The last one is lichen, but there are also others that we have not mentioned. So at this moment, I want us to look at the groups of non-flowering plants. Groups of non-flowering plants. Groups of non-flowering plants. I'm seeing Maria. Maria, please, you're most welcome. I think you've just joined us, but unmute your microphone. Okay. Maybe let me have Maria to read for us that heading. Yes, Maria, read for us that heading. Someone has, I see Jordan here. Jordan, can you speak? Read for us that heading. I think Jordan cannot speak. Any other person? Nasha, can you read for us that heading?
Groups of non-flowering plants.
Groups of non-flowering plants. Who can tell us any one group of a non-flowering plant? Anyone? Any one group of a non-flowering plant? I see very many hands, but let me give this chance to Anna. Anna? Okay, let me ask Sarah. Groups of non-flowering
plants.
Come again?
Groups of non-flowering plants.
Yeah, I'm asking now. Can you give any one group of a non-flowering plant? Any one group of a non-flowering plant? There are two groups of non-flowering plants. There are two, but I wanted you to give one. Nasha, can you give us any?
Conifers.
Good. Conifers. Conifers is one of the groups of non-flowering plants. Then there is the other one remaining. Who would like to tell us that one? Which is remaining? Sarah? We have conifers and then the other one. Stacy, do you have any idea? Sarah, would you want to say something?
Toadstools.
Toadstools are under fungi. Those ones are in the kingdom of fungi. They are not plants. Toadstool, those ones are not plants. Toadstool and the mushroom are in the same family, and that is in the fungi kingdom. And we shall learn that in primary 5. We shall look at the fungi kingdom in primary 5. As simple as that. Thank you. Any other person? Maria, you've not said anything. Kirsten, you've also kept quiet. So let's move on. So when you look at the groups of non-flowering plants, you realize that there are 2 groups.
Mushroom.
Mushroom is not. Mushroom is in the family of fungi. A mushroom is not a plant. So even though they say non-flowering plants, don't mention a mushroom. Don't mention a mushroom because it is not correct. Those ones are not plants. They are not plants completely. So you should not mention mushrooms. Those ones are in the kingdom of fungi, which we shall look at. We shall learn that in primary 5. We shall learn that in primary 5. So when you look at the groups of non-flowering plants, you get to realize that there are 2. One of them, at least Nasha told us one of them, that is the conifers. And then the other one is the spore-producing plants. Spore-producing plants. Spore-producing plants. Someone using ITEL, please, statistics, please read for us this statement. Where I'm pointing, where the cursor is pointing. Yes, read for us this. Read for us this. I think they are not able. Let me ask Anna, read for us this.
There are 2 groups of non-flowering plants, namely conifers and spore-producing plants.
Conifers and then the spore-producing plants. So when you look at conifers, these are plants which reproduce by means of seeds. Then for the case of spores, spore-producing plants, these are plants, these are non-flowering plants which reproduce by means of spores. As simple as that. Still, I will ask you that as we move on. I will ask you that. Now, I want to Maria to define for us conifers. What are conifers? If you've been attentive, you'll get it right. What are conifers? Because I've just said. Who remembers that? Valentine?
These are our seed producing plants.
Come again?
These are seeds producing plants.
When you're defining that word, simply say, at least you're defining conifers, simply say, these are non-flowering plants. Then you continue from there. Let me give this chance to Stacy. Stacy, what are conifers?
These are non-flowering plants that reproduce by seeds.
Good. These are non-flowering plants which reproduce by means of seeds. So if they ask you that, simply be able to say that these are plants which reproduce by means of seeds. When you look at the other examples of non-flowering plants, there are some conifers there. So after this, I will be asking you to give examples of conifers, those non-flowering plants which reproduce by means of seeds, as simple as that. So who remembers what I said about spore-producing plants? What are spore-producing plants? What are spore-producing plants? Yes, Sarah? What are spore-producing plants? I see your hand up. I don't know if you intended to raise it. What are spore-producing plants? If not, I will give chance to another person. Nasha, can you say something? What are spore-producing plants? Nasha is not speaking. Let me give this chance to Valentine. What are spore-producing plants? Maria?
Spore productive plants are plants which bear flowers.
Not really. Back to Maria. You were saying something.
The product plants are plants which bear flowers.
That is an idea, but it is not correct. Let me ask Sarah. Your hand is up.
They
Yes, Sarah? Okay, last chance to Nasha. What are spore-producing plants?
Spore-producing plants are plants that reproduce by means of spores.
Good. These are plants that reproduce by means of spores. They reproduce by means of spores. So that one, we shall look at that one probably in the coming lesson. So today we shall first deal with conifers, and then we move on like that. So we say that conifers are non-flowering plants that reproduce by means of seeds. I want someone to read for us this so that we can move on. Someone who has not said a word for a long time, who would like to read for us that by show of hands? Read for us that definition. When you do practice, it will help you. Yes, Kirsten. Kirsten? Anna, you can read for us.
Conifers are non-flowering plants that reproduce by means of seeds.
These plants that reproduce by means of seeds. So let's take a look at the examples of non-flowering plants of conifers. Examples of conifers. Examples of these non-flowering plants which reproduce by means of seeds. Let's give the examples, and one of them is pines. I want you to give the rest. One of them is pines. Pines, when you look at pines, these are just trees. Tree-like, they are just trees. and they provide us with softwood timber. Yes, Anna? Any example of the conifers? Do you have any idea? Or Sarah?
Eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus, correct. Another person? Another person? Anna's hand up, but I don't know if she's ready. Yes, Mosise, if you have any Maria? Okay.
Oranges.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So they ask us to give the examples of conifers. First of all, the first one you can talk about, but it should not be the first. You can give any. You can start with any. You can talk about the pines. You can also talk about the podo. Just podo. It is correct. It is a conifer. You also have cedar. It is an example of a conifer. You also have cypress. This cypress is the one we call sometimes the Christmas tree. You find people talking about Christmas tree, what? So this is the cypress. Another word for Christmas tree is cypress. You also have fir. It is also a conifer. It is also a conifer which reproduces by means of seeds. And then you have the spruce and so many others like eucalyptus and the others. There are very, very many examples of conifers. So this part usually teachers leave it for primary 6. This part of conifers, teachers leave it for primary 6. But it is very important for you to know it at this level, so that when you reach primary 6, because we are going to learn this subject, this topic again in primary 6. In primary 6, it is called classification of plants. Classification of plants, and this one is taught in second term. It is one of the wide topics in primary 6, but also in primary 4, it is wide. So this part is always left, but I felt that it is okay for us to look at the conifers. It's not difficult. When they ask you what conifers are, you simply say conifers are non-flowering plants which reproduce by means of seeds. And then when they ask you to give examples, give these examples. Talk about the pines. Talk about eucalyptus. Talk about podo, cedar, cypress, fir, and then spruce, and many others. There are very many. They are very many. So that is what you need to know about this. So next time, we shall be discussing more about spore-producing plants. Then after looking at the spore-producing plants, we shall look at the flowering plants. These ones are now very wide, flowering plants. We shall look at the flowering plants. As simple as it's good that in the lower primary, P1, P2, P3, at least you learn again plants there. And it will not be new when we start talking about the flowering plants. So that is what you need to know. So we started with plants. We say that a plant is a living thing that grows in the earth. And we were able to define that correctly. We also moved on and talked about the types of plants. We said we have non-flowering plants and then the flowering plants. We also gave the examples. We defined the flowering plants. We gave the examples of flowering plants. And now we are talking about the groups of non-flowering plants. These groups are two. One of them is conifers, and then the other one is the spore-producing plants. Conifers reproduce by means of seeds, while these ones, the spore-producing plants, those ones reproduce by means of spores, as simple as that. So when we continue, we shall be asking you to compare what is the similarity between a bean seed and then the pines in terms of reproduction. What is the similarity between a bean seed and then the pines in terms of reproduction when we continue? But even now, someone can still give us the answer. Even now, someone can still give us the answer. If we say, what is the similarity between the pines and bean seed? In terms of reproduction, simply say both a bean seed. I see Mrs.'s hand up. Maybe she can tell us the answer. What is the answer? What is the answer? What is the similarity between the bean seed and the pines? She's not speaking. Another person? Sarah?
They both reproduce by means of seed.
Good. They both reproduce by means of seeds. And then they can also ask you another question. What is the difference between the Moses? What is the difference between Moses and the pines? What is the difference between Moses and pines? What is the difference between Moses and pines? Stacy? Please, Maria.
Moses is a person. Moses is a person, and conifers is a plant.
Stacy, you need to get the difference. Maria, can you mute the microphone? Thank you. Stacy, there is a difference between Moses, the person, and Moses, a non-flowering plant. Moses, a non-flowering plant, is spelled with SS, M-O-S-S-E-S. That is Moses, which is a non-flowering plant. So when they ask you the difference between Moses and then the pines, what is the difference between Moses and pines in terms of reproduction? In terms of reproduction, you consider the way these plants reproduce. Let's hear from Sarah. What would you say?
Moses by pores, while pines by seeds.
But you have to include there the word reproduce. You simply say Moses reproduce by means of pores, while pines reproduce by means of seeds. As simple as that. So that is what you need to know about that. So that is it for today. We wanted to talk about mostly the plants, what plants are, the plants, also the groups of non-flowering plants. So tomorrow, another day when we shall be having a lesson, we shall continue from here, where we have where we have stopped. We shall continue from here. So this is still Yaka. Yaka is in 2. Someone is please, let's continue. So I was telling you that this is Yaka, Digital Learning Network, which provides you with this service of online classes. There is a online class, as you can see. Here are the services that Yaka provides. There is also Educare. On the other hand, with Educare, you must have, there are 4 packages in case you want to get any package. There is a package in 4 categories. There is the bronze level. This bronze level, you can be given access to notes in case you want to access that work in the site, and then you read alone at home. If you want to read alone at home, anytime, anywhere, you can access that service. In this tool, in these 4 levels, there is a bronze level, 20,000 per month. Then there is a silver level, 50,000 quarterly. And then you have the gold level. With the gold level, it is 70,000 half a year, meaning 6 months. And then the platinum, you can pay 100,000, and then you access the work, the content for that class for the whole year. And then after accessing, you move to the next class. Then for the case of online classes, if a child pays 500,000, this child is able to have teacher-student interaction. You will be interacting with the teachers through Zoom, like we are doing right now. You can interact with the teacher through Zoom, and then all the services, the child is able to access work, all the subjects in the website, all the subjects, you can access it for the whole year. You pay 500,000, and then you'll be getting services by meeting the teacher in case there is any challenge like that, where the child does not understand, the teachers are available. For us, we are there. As simple as that. The assignments there and everything. Sometimes people ask that, if I subscribe the 500, do I need to go to school again? It is a choice, but most parents prefer also going to school when it is open. They go to school, but still the child is able to access work even while at school. The advantage is the child is able to learn alone and research even ahead. As simple as that. And then everything will be okay. So that is that for now. I want to thank everyone for listening and the active participation. Thank you so much. I see Jordan. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. We also have Nasha. Thank you so much for attending and a good participation. Valentine, thank you so much for attending and your good participation. I wish you the best. We have Maria. Maria, thank you so much for the good participation. Kirsten, thank you so much for good participation. I want to tell you, if you continue with the same spirit, the sky will be the limit. We have Anna, thank you so much for attending, and everyone that has engagement. And thank you so much. I want to encourage you to continue attending. We are still providing you with these lessons, so feel free. Teachers are available. Feel free to ask any question. Thank you so much. Unless there is any question that you want to ask, you can go on. But we are done with this engagement. Thank you. If there is